Hello, this is David Shockley with the Maximum Mediocrity podcast, and you're probably wondering why you're hearing my beautiful, silky voice midway through the month. Don't worry, dear listener, your calendar isn't wrong. I'm here to let you know that we're kicking ourselves into high gear and we are going to start doubling our production output. That's right, we're giving you a 2-for-1 deal and it's all for free. We're putting out 2 new episodes every single month. What that means for you is that you get to discover your new favorite people and dive into their worlds that you may have never even knew existed. We also get to drink with them, quite a lot actually, which is my personal favorite part. So, if you like what you hear, make sure to give us a little bit of love on our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, where you can stay up to date on all of our tomfoolery. You can also check out our website at MaximumMediocrity.com. So, without further ado, let's start our newest episode with our special guest, the beautiful Carly Turner.
For a wedding here. Yeah.
Hello, and thank you for listening to the Maximum Mediocrity podcast. My name is David Shockley.
And I'm Morgan Miller.
And I'm Carly Turner.
And here we are! Carly, thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I was actually, I didn't think when I first reached out to you? Wrote out to you? What's that word?
I guess reached out. Reached out. I think
contacted.
Contacted.
There we go. That's a good one.
I honestly didn't even think you were going to reply.
Really?
Because I imagine as an Instagram model, you get 1 million private messages a day. Is that true?
I do.
You get a lot?
I get a lot, and like a lot of them are from people from different countries. Some of them are serious. I have to like weed out and see like what's serious, what's not. So that's always a struggle.
Send me your bobs.
Yes. A lot of that.
So if you wouldn't mind telling people, what is it that you do? Why are you here today?
So I am a model, I guess. I got into it about 2 years ago. So I've been doing it ever since. But yeah, I mean, modeling, that's pretty much what I do. I'm trying to get more into music, per se.
Okay, and like music production.
Yes, exactly. And I do a lot of that. It's just more of I share more modeling because it's easier to gain exposure through modeling than it is to gain exposure through music.
Really?
It is.
Yeah, because I imagine because modeling is more visual, so you can click it and you can see. Whereas with music, you have to sit down and listen to it. You have to dedicate a lot more time to be exposed to it, I guess.
Exactly.
And so, but you are specifically, so you're a model on Instagram primarily.
Yeah, primarily Instagram. I am published, and I have a few publications in the lineup, so that's pretty nice. I actually just got published in this month's magazine of my alternative magazine. I believe that's their full name. My Alternative Magazine?
Yes. And for what month? August?
For August, yeah. Their swimwear magazine. So I just got published in that. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, congratulations. That's
you.
awesome.
Thank you.
Well, we are going to start the podcast the same way that we start every single podcast.
Alrighty.
We're just going to cheers to a good podcast episode. However, because you are 19 years old, and I didn't realize that when I first contacted you, you cannot be drinking.
I will drink my Gatorade.
There you go. So,
David.
Cheers. Oh my god. That never gets easier.
Mine was pretty tasty. I mean, I can't really. I can't relate.
And then also, being that you can't drink, now we just hit you with millennial shame.
Right. There we go.
So thanks for ruining every industry that we've come to love, apparently, being a millennial.
It's all my fault.
David, aren't we millennials?
We are.
Dun,
But she's more millennial.
Yeah, exactly. Where does that stop? Isn't there like another, it's like millennials and there's like it's like Milla, like, I don't know.
Isn't the one before us Generation X or something like that? Or is that the one after?
Yeah, I think it's Generation X, then Millennial, and I honestly, personally, I don't even like these
I
parameters
know, it's so weird.
because there's nothing that like there's no objective numbers. Like it's all just made up time frames. It doesn't mean anything. And even I read a study where when marketers are studying for like how to market to different generations, going by generations has never worked. It doesn't. There's no advantage to using that metric for anything.
Yeah.
You know when it probably did work? Baby boomers. Because they're all born relatively in the same year.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're all. But that's just they're all because they're all the same age because they're all born at the same time.
Yeah.
So.
It's the only time it probably worked.
Yeah. So now by going, I think advertising demographics by age, that makes sense.
Right.
Because when you are a certain age, you want a certain thing. But I don't know, generations. That's just something that frustrates me.
I feel like it's just a good way to like blame the younger generations for everything. Like we've done everything wrong. Like we're lazy and we sit on our asses. Like I don't know. That's what I get from it.
Well, but who raised us?
Exactly.
We didn't ask for the participation trophies. The only reason we got them is because our parents bitched for us to get them, and then now we get shit for getting them.
Exactly.
We didn't ask for this. But Carly, since you're the youngest, why have you ruined the generations?
What? Clearly, it's my fault. I know. I don't know. I mean.
So I did have a question about your modeling.
Yes.
Do you want to be on top?
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. You see, I wish like I could get most of these references. I mean, I got that one, but like everyone's like, oh, you must watch America's Next Top Model. And I'm like, here and there. But watching it is so humorous. I think we were talking about that earlier, how humorous that show is. It's very dramatic.
It's over the top.
It's over the top.
It's watching people that just don't quite have a worldview.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're all like 18.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
It's like, man, I would love to hear a bunch of 18-year-olds bitch and complain about being beautiful. Man, that sounds like a great show. I
would make like episode 1 of that show, and then they'd be like, yeah, go home. Like
you have too much
bye.
personality.
Yeah, too much personality. And unfortunately, like I am very short. I'm not the like model like standard that you would see like when people picture a model, they picture like someone who's like 5'9", very skinny and like long legs. I, on the other hand,
that sounds like me.
Yeah,
that's me.
You're the model, so maybe
you're gonna be on top.
I'm sorry, but this is what the perfect form
looks like. Right there.
If you don't like it, you can go home.
Yeah.
You can go.
Sorry that you have to accept this truth, and if that's hard on you, that's on you.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I actually do have a little bit of a pop quiz for you.
Go for it.
It's the America's Next Top Model quiz.
Oh, God.
It's five questions.
Okay.
And normally how this goes is that if you can get at least 3 correct,
right,
me and Morgan will do a shot.
Okay.
Another shot. But then if you don't get any correct, then you would normally have to do a shot. But again, since you can't do that, we just shame you more.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I like that. I'm ready.
For the official Maximum Mediocrity America's Next Top Model pop quiz.
I think I'm ready. Okay.
And Morgan, if you want to be our control, or do you want? No, because you don't know it either, because I haven't given you these answers.
Yeah, I don't know the questions or the answers.
This is perfect.
No.
So you'll be up against our control.
Okay.
But you have to answer first, because I think you know.
Probably.
Alrighty.
Question 1. Each season of America's Next Top Model is known as a what? It's known as a season, a cycle, a competition, or a round.
Oh. I'm going to say a competition.
Morgan?
A cycle.
Morgan is correct. It is known as a cycle. Question 2. You're doing great. Question 2. Who was the presenter of America's Next Top Model?
I think I know this one.
Okay.
It's Tyra Banks, right?
Tyra Banks. That was easy. I already knew you were going to get that one, Morgan, so I just skipped that.
That's true.
You're on the board.
There we go. We got one.
If you got that one wrong,
that would be pretty bad.
Get out.
Like, just leave now. Just walk out.
Does anybody else think that Tyra Banks and Beyonce kind of look a little similar?
they do.
I could see it. Yeah, I could see it.
Question number 3. In which year did America's Next Top Model premiere? So when did it start? The year 2000, 2003, 2005, 2008.
Something's telling me 2003.
Morgan?
2000?
Carly Turner on the board!
Oh, I got it.
Question 4. What is the name of the notable model from the 70s and 80s who served as a judge on America's Next Top Model? This is a multiple choice. Janice Dickinson, Twiggy, Tyra Banks, Kelly Catrone.
I'm just going to say Tyra Banks because it's the only one that pops out to me.
Morgan?
Twiggy.
You're both wrong. It was Janice Dickinson.
Oh.
Yeah, she's on the panel constantly. Twiggy is a guest star every once in a while, isn't it?
I don't know. I've never watched the show.
I have no idea.
I know for certain that Twiggy's on it.
To be fair, Carly, I have barely watched this show either.
Okay. So we're kind of in the same boat.
Yeah, so when I was Googling these for this quiz, I was like, I guess that's right. Question 5, final question. So far, how many do you have right?
I thought it was 2.
2.
You have 2 right.
2 right.
So far, you have 2 right.
Okay.
Final question. If you get this right, me and Morgan have to drink.
This was good.
I wish I had Who Wants to Be a Millionaire theme songs. Who was the first plus-size model to win America's Next Top Model? Was it Anya Kopp, Samantha Potter, Whitney Thompson, or Tayana Anderson?
I'm going to say Whitney Thompson.
Whitney Thompson? Morgan?
Whitney Thompson.
That is correct. You both got it.
Yes. So what does that mean?
I don't know. We've never gotten this far. That means we have to take an additional shot.
Ooh.
Well, yay.
You don't.
I know. I just have good old Gatorade.
H2O.
Well, Morgan, we lost fair and square, and you had nothing to do with it. So I'm punishing you.
That's fair.
Cheers.
Cheers to you guys. Losing.
Damn kids.
Ruin in the country.
Well, with that pain out of the way, I want to ask you a little bit more about modeling.
Okay.
Actually, first off, I want to ask you about Instagram, because I see that they have recently introduced a video player.
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to start integrating into that, or are you going to stick with pictures?
I'm thinking about it. I mean, I've played around a little bit with the Instagram Live, and people really take to that. People commenting when are you gonna go live again, or when are you gonna, when can we see more of that? What we want to see more behind the scenes. So I was thinking about doing a video sort, and also more on the visual aspect, I guess. I've had a few people reach out to me in reference to doing a visual where, kind of similar to what you see in the Victoria's Secret commercials, where it's music in the background and more of a visual versus just the photos, like you were saying. So I think I might. I mean, I haven't really gotten too invested into it yet, but I would like to.
But you are looking into that.
Yes.
Because I think it's an interesting new medium that they're doing, almost to kind of try to compete against YouTube a little bit.
Yeah.
But being that it's Instagram and it's used for a totally different purpose, I'm curious to see maybe what current creators are looking at that for.
Right.
Which models are your inspiration?
That's a good one. Okay. I mean, I really like, Alexis Wren, but more so I think her name's Ashley Graham, and the other one is I Am Iskra on Instagram, because they're more of they're not really plus size models. I guess technically they're considered plus size models, but I like that it's kind of outside of the box. It's not your typical super, skinny and tall. And not that it's a bad thing. I mean, I think everyone has their place in modeling, but I like to see what the industry would normally shame, kind of growing and becoming more popular. It's kind of nice to see that, just because if you have that tall natural frame, it's going to be easier for you to get into modeling, get into the industry. And like I said, those girls are just as beautiful, and not that they don't deserve the spotlight, but I think it is nice to see the spotlight on more I don't want to say curvier women. I guess that's a good word for it.
Non-traditional beauty.
Absolutely. Good way to put it.
I prepared for this interview. How did you know that you wanted to become a model? What was the moment that you thought that that's what you wanted to do?
Well, when I was like younger, I don't know, I never used to be like the pretty girl or anything. I remember like so vividly when I was younger, like someone said to me, I don't remember who it was, but I remember what they said and it stuck with me forever. Like I think this was like 5th grade. And they're like, "Oh, like you're so pretty, whomever." And then they said to me, they're like, "Oh, and you're pretty too, Carly. I mean, it's not that you're like fat or anything, but like you're pretty too." Like it was kind of like the pity, like, "Oh, like no offense." Like, so I don't know, that always resonated with me. And then I think it was my sophomore year of high school, or junior year. Someone reached out to me. It never really struck my mind until someone reached out to me and was like, "I think you're very pretty. I think your Instagram photos are like gorgeous. I'd love to do just like a photo shoot with you." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Like, that's flattering. I guess I'll try it." And then ever since then, I kind of just like took it and ran with it. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
So it was somebody kind of saw you and say, "Hey, I'd like to, take a picture of you. Can you just kind of do this for me?"
Yeah.
Just as like a one-off. And
Right.
then the bug caught you.
Yeah,
You're like,
exactly.
I could do this. When you model, this is a question that's always bugged me, and I'm so glad that you came on so I get to finally get this off my chest.
Yeah.
When you model, do you pick one pose and slowly move to the next one, or are you constantly moving?
Pretty much constantly moving. Like they say the best way to like pose and position yourself is to like, excuse me, sorry, my voice is a little bit hoarse. But if you move from like, let's say I have my arms over my head, then I want to maybe move down to my face or like just slowly move downwards versus like, kind of going from like above your head all the way down to like, by your waist. Like you kind of want to move in that direction, like you said, kind of slowly, but you are constantly moving.
Okay, so you're always slowly moving to kind of, that way they can catch that moment.
Yeah. So, it just also depends on the photographer too. I've had photographers like say, "Oh, like do this pose," and then hold that for a few shots, and then like, but then the other ones are more rapid fire. Like, just do what you want to do. I just want to catch that like that off moment or like that one thing where it's just like it's genuine. So it just depends.
And so every photographer is a little bit different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody has their preference, I guess, of how they want to be shot. And I imagine it's difficult to, I guess this is kind of the main point of modeling, but I guess it's difficult to kind of know what you look like while you're posing,
Yes.
especially because modeling, when you see the pictures, while they're very beautiful, they're like not poses that people normally are in.
Right.
Traditionally, it's not like I'm just sitting there, waiting for the bus and, I just got my hands up
Yeah.
over my head in a nice dainty fashion, waiting to be taken a picture of. It's not comfortable.
No, absolutely. I say this all the time. Like people are like, "Oh, it must be so easy. You just get in front of a camera and like, pose for all day." I'm like, it's really not. Like it's arching your back and being on your toes, and by the end of the day, like my body hurts. I'm like tired just from like being in these, like you said, awkward positions, because what might look awkward in person based off the angle of the camera and how it's like taken is, it can really make a difference in the photo. So
Wow.
yeah.
I once heard that the more uncomfortable the position, the better the look.
That is so true. I cannot stress that enough. That is like the most true statement I've ever heard. Like my mentor, I guess you could say, not the first photographer that I shot with, but the second one. He was one who really kind of like shoved me, and he was like, "No, like you're doing this." So and then I totally was like into it. But he always told me, if you are not uncomfortable during that pose, it's probably not going to look good on camera. Like you are going to be very uncomfortable. So, and that's how it is. Like you very awkward, very gracious hands. Like it's really weird, but it looks good on camera. So I wish I could like show some of these like awkward off shots, like just from like unedits, just right off the camera. Some of my faces, I have like a double chin. I'm like, hold on, like trying to get it together. I'm like it's like the other side of modeling. Just want to put a little portfolio together of it.
And that's, I love it, because this is why we do these interviews, because this is a show about interviewing people that aren't necessarily famous, no offense,
Yeah.
but I think should be. People that are within this grind of that
Right.
in-between where you're not totally an amateur, but you're not 100%, like you're not
Exactly.
completely 100% endorsed yet. And
Kind of
so-
like us.
Kind of like us.
I love it.
You're probably actually the most famous guest we've had on the show.
Really?
Well, no, you're right. You're not that
Except for
great.
me.
I love it.
Just going based off Instagram numbers.
Yeah.
Because, over 3,000
Over
followers now, right?
3,000. I think 3,200 right now.
And
What are your tactics to get more followers?
So I feel like it's so cliche. That's the one thing I hate. Like, I love Instagram and I love, meeting new people and networking off it, but it just feels so like weird. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I'll go on there and then I'm like, oh, like, I try to keep my follower ratio down. Like, I try not to follow people if I don't know them. But then I kind of feel like an ass because I'm like, I want to like enjoy everyone who's on my page. A lot of people, I meet a lot of very nice people on there. But I guess my biggest thing is just promoting myself, putting out a lot of new content, hashtagging, and working with models who have a bigger following than me, or working with photographers who have a bigger following, because when they share you automatically like will grow. Like I shot with this model, Megan. She's great. She's so down to earth, and she's always willing to help people like get to a bigger spot. She has like 150K on Instagram, like some crazy number, and they're all real followers. It's not like like
it's not bot.
like the bot followers. And she had shared just like a little thing of me on her Instagram story, and I got 1,000 followers overnight. That was crazy.
Shit.
Craziness. I was like, oh my God. Like, so.
How many hashtags is too many hashtags?
I know, right? That's what I always say. I'm like, I don't want to like overdo it. I don't want to look crazy, but I usually do about 15 to 20. It can be like I've seen photographers do like they'll do as many as they can in the caption, and then they'll comment like even more.
Oh my
like,
God.
just keep going with it.
You got to have your hashtag game on point.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I started putting stuff out for the podcast, some like pull quotes, and like just some images, and like I'm doing like 5 or 6 hashtags. I ain't getting shit. Sometimes I hashtag ironically just to see if like the bots from those pages will like it.
Yeah,
and it's great. There was one time I did a pull quote about the man flu.
Oh my God.
And
that was a good episode.
Ironically, I just did hashtag health. And I got so many health bots liking that picture about the man flu.
That's hilarious. I feel like it happens like that too. I will get like bot accounts that will like my stuff. Like if I hashtag, what's a good one? Oh, I did like a hashtag Aruba because the shoot was like Aruba based, and like all these like I love Aruba accounts are like they're like I love Aruba bots. There's just like so many of them liking my picture. I was like, whoa.
What are the point of bot profiles on Instagram?
I always wondered that too. I wish I knew. Like, I guess it is essentially for people who purchase followers, or just maybe to like, I don't know. Like it weirds me out because like I'll hashtag something and then the bot will like it, but I'm like, what was really I didn't pay for it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, why did this account like it? But I don't know. I guess it's just something to get exposure for their accounts. Sometimes people will pay to have a bot like people's pictures and hope for gaining more exposure, and then like they'll take the bot off the account and then like use it as their own because they'll have all this following. Yeah,
because I think because when they like your stuff, you go, oh, who's this? And you click on their profile, and now you're looking at their profile, which is what they want. They want that exposure.
Yeah.
I should really try that. That sounds actually like a good idea. Sleazy way to do it.
But hey.
I wonder if it works.
Doesn't matter. Counts.
It still counts.
Yeah.
She put a bag on my head.
So I have a beautiful feminine figure.
Absolutely.
And, I thought, I need to share this with the world. If I was to start Instagram modeling, what would be your top 5 like tricks of the trade that you could help me out to get me off my feet, kind of to get me started?
Right. I get this question a lot, actually. This is like one of my biggest questions in my messages, whether it's, it's mostly females, but I do have some men ask me. And
Caught.
Yeah, caught. But I guess my biggest thing is just start with a good portfolio. Like get everything, like a little bit of boudoir, a little bit of fashion, swimwear, anything that you would see in a typical portfolio. That's what you want to start with. And like whether like some people, I thankfully did not have to pay for my portfolio, but some people do. You have to pay for a good portfolio because you can't just have like kind of crappy pictures because people look at that. So if you want to start getting paid to do it, it's all about the portfolio. And my mentor like gets on me all the time. Like it's the professionalism. The nails, like my nails right now are an awful example. I have like blue and silver on, but
I thought they looked really nice.
Thank you. Yeah, I only did it for a vacation, but like during a shoot, this is not ideal. Like you want to have groomed nails, whether you have nothing on them or like a neutral color. Makeup looks nice, hair looks nice. Like there's so many rules to it, like unwritten. And like I was saying earlier, how I had a shoot, I didn't eat before. It's more of like a fasting thing. It's not the healthiest thing for you, but your skin is tight on your body, and then like you look a little slimmer. So it's just easier for the photographer when you go into it. Not like you haven't ate for the day yet, and you just eat afterwards. You just pig out afterwards. Like I
You're
guess
still eating. It's just you have to plan when you're going to be eating.
Exactly. So I guess there's like my biggest things is just the professionalism, making sure everything's neat, and following all the little kind of bullshit rules that
Like what?
Like the not eating stuff, like that stuff. Like people were like, you don't eat before your shoot, and I'm like, yeah, because I don't like naturally. Like if I eat, I bloat, and I look like I'm 6 months pregnant. So I'm like, it's probably not the best thing for me to eat right before a shoot. Not that it's like,
But 6 months pregnant, what are you eating? A whole turkey?
Actually, a human being.
I eat a lot. Like carbs are my favorites. People are like, oh, you must starve yourself. I'm like, no, it's just like moderation at the gym and, moderation what you eat, and also like the whole fasting thing. It sucks, but it gets the job done.
I have gone from whenever I see somebody on like a model, especially I follow a lot of cosplay models.
Absolutely.
And I've gone from when I see someone who has that is absolutely beautiful, I've gone from, oh my God, they're so lucky, to that must have been a lot of work to maintain and to get that type of a body.
Right.
And people don't realize that in order to look a certain way, like that's like being a professional at anything. Like you have like being a professional like boxer or something. Like you have to really tone your body for a certain thing. And I think people don't understand that as much. What do you think?
No, I definitely agree. I think, and I get a lot of crap for it. People are like, oh, like, it must be so hard being pretty. But I'm like, no, like, there is a lot to it. It's not just like, oh.
It kind of is. It is a little hard to be pretty because you have to maintain that.
Yeah, it's not easy. Like, I have to, I have to watch what I eat. And then, I mean, don't get me wrong. I do enjoy, like, I like to enjoy, and I will enjoy my food. Like, I'm not super strict on my figure, because even me at my lowest body weight, I have been to that point, like my lowest body weight and like anything, it still technically wouldn't be ideal in a management. Like if a management company saw me, like a modeling management, they're like, your thighs are too big, your shoulders are too broad, and you're too short. Next, like that's how it would be.
Yeah.
So I maintain to the best of my ability and what's comfortable for me and what I think looks good. I mean, a lot of people have complimented like, oh, you look great. And I'm like, thank you. I mean, I do work for it. It is like
you are a
model. Yeah. So I don't know. It is. I definitely think that it's a lot more work than what people think. Like just maintaining. Like it sucks. It can suck. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah.
I would just like to show you one of David's best model poses.
I'm excited.
What do you think this would make my portfolio, Carly?
I love this. This is definitely a look. I mean, the hands, like the placement, you can only see the sides of the hands, not the fronts. I mean, this is some A1 modeling work right here.
Can you describe the outfit, please?
Oh my gosh, he's wearing a fuzzy hoodie, but a cropped hoodie, like at that. So we got a little stomach action going on here. We got the khaki pants. His hands are perfectly placed on one on hip, one on head, and he's looking right off into the light. I think it's perfect. I think this is could do. Like, if we could edit this into like a nice background, maybe like a beach or like something, or like a city. No, that's better. City landscape, and just like kind of tweak it a little. I think this could be perfect. I can send this to one of my editors.
Oh, there we go. So do you think I have a shoe-in to maybe start something?
Absolutely. And the funny thing is, I get a lot of crap. Like, I don't get involved with much like Instagram drama or anything like that. It's just not professional. It's not the way to go. But I have had like I've had a few like where the Delaware model one time, she was like, oh, well, like I bust my ass to be here and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, but we all do. We all have our own story, And then she was like, not anyone can model. But I'm like, but really anyone can model. Like, you don't think about it, but the people in the grocery store advertisements are literally models. Like, that is a model. That's not just someone they said, hey, you, like, come be in this grocery ad. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's a look for everything. There really is. People don't, take that into account. I've seen models covered in tattoos. I've seen models without tattoos. I've seen more of a plus size model and a skinnier model. There's a look for literally everything. So it is hard to get into, but once you're in it, I mean, the people love seeing different stuff. So I always say that, like, if you like want to go for it, like, go for it. That's my biggest advice to anyone who's like trying to get into modeling. Just go for it.
It's actually funny you bring up grocery store models because I've been working at the Wilmington Hospital and they have posters up everywhere for all different kinds of things, and me and my co-worker were just talking about how different all the people on the poster look like. Like, there's a whole bunch of like normal looking people, but then there's people that are like, where do they find these people?
Yeah, literally.
This woman has no eyebrows.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like, where do they, like, literally there's such a, like, there's a look for everything. So I think that's so funny to me. Like, some people are very, I don't know, I like to consider myself pretty open-minded, and some people aren't, especially in the modeling community. They're like, oh, like, you don't look like this, like, you probably shouldn't do it. Like, it's really not that deep, I don't think. I think it's just, how you express yourself and a lot of personality. Like, as we were saying, as America's Top Model, like, those girls have no personality. Like, it's all like crying and whining about like, I want to be the prettiest girl ever. Like, it's really not about that. It's all about, having a good personality and just putting yourself out there, I guess.
Absolutely. I would say if people forget about stock photos, like everybody in a stock photo is a model. I think if I had a preference, I would go for crazy stock photos. I would be that model that has a watermelon over his head. I'm like strangling a chicken or a controller or scissors or whatever that they have you doing. Have you ever thought about maybe getting into that world?
Honestly, like I told myself, like, as I'm in this journey, I just want to try a little bit of everything. Like, I've done some like crazy retro stuff. I went to a house, literally hasn't been touched since the 70s. It was left untouched. We went inside. I was with this photographer, Ian Jansen. He's such a great guy, and he's like a creative genius. And I was just in shock. Like, literally, it's like the people up and left. Like, toilet paper's still half full. Whoa. Band-Aids and stuff, like, in the, in the mirror. Like, it was crazy. Walls were, like, pink. Kind of that retro 70s look. The bed, everything was there. So I think that was one of the coolest shoots I've ever done. And I feel like just getting into a little bit of everything, like doing that like stock photo, just something crazy. Like, I love stuff like that. So I always say with being a model and being in this industry, I want to try a little bit of everything. Like, whether we're at like cosplay spectrum to stock photos to anything. So
I think that's a good top tip.
Yeah.
Is try everything.
Absolutely.
Don't limit yourself. Say yes to essentially anything.
Absolutely.
I like that. Well, just we're kind of want to wind down a little bit here, but I do want to ask you, what do you wish people knew about models and modeling? Like, what questions are you sick of answering? Stuff like that.
That's a good question.
Thank you. I try.
Yeah, it is a really good question because it's hard to kind of express my thoughts, like, to, everyone via Instagram, just like messaging people back. I think the toughest thing about being a model is that people will give you crap and people will call you, oh, you're just a basic Instagram model and all that. And stuff like that kind of sucks because it really does, like, almost, like, make you want to think, oh, like, do I really want to keep doing this? Is it really worth my time? Because I guess everyone's doing it now. And that's what I get a lot of. Like, everyone's doing it now. Like, it's pretty easy, but it's really not. Like, everyone has a different journey. Everyone is trying to gain exposure in their own way. Some people do modeling, different types of modeling. There's so many different types of modeling. I think it's just like, my thing is I'm riding my own journey out, and I'd like to get more invested into music and stuff. But the toughest thing is just kind of being shot down by everyone and being told, like, oh, well, you're not really going to make it that far. Or, oh, it's probably not going to go anywhere. Like, I think at the end of the day, we should not shoot people down and just let people enjoy themselves in their own creative outlet. Because whether I end up on a Vogue magazine or whether I just end up on a damn grocery store ad, like, at least I did something with it, and at least I had fun doing it. So I think that's my biggest thing with that.
Interesting.
That's really awesome. What kind of music are you looking to get into anyways?
I am I'm big into alternative music, alternative rock, kind of like, I guess, in comparison artist wise, like, I'm really inspired, like the Arctic Monkeys and like groups like that. So Florence and the Machine.
I love Florence.
I
and the
love
Machine.
Florence and the Machine. So
She has such a unique look to her.
yeah, like, she's so cool. I love that group. So if I did get into music, that's definitely the direction I want to take it, because I have, like, I play instruments, I sing. It definitely isn't something I show more on my Instagram, but I'd like to start doing that. It's just like building that follower base. Like, I want to keep building it until I get to a point where I'm like, okay, well, I can probably start sharing music now, and people probably won't absolutely fucking hate it, I guess, because at least I've kind of established this fan base and this relationship with people. So yeah.
Well, that's great. Yeah. And we want to start to close out the podcast. We close out the podcast with a word association game.
Okay.
So the way the game works is that I'm going to say a word, and then you are going to think of the first word that pops into your mind based off of my word.
Okay.
After you say your word, then Morgan is going to think of the first word that comes to her mind based off of your word, and then we're going to go in a circle, or in this case, a triangle.
Absolutely.
So the things to remember with the game is you got to be quick. So if you take too long to answer, then you lose, or if you repeat a word that's already been used.
Okay.
Sound good?
Oh God. Okay.
And we'll
I'm
do
ready.
it 3 times. I'll start the first one. Carly, you can start the second round, and then Morgan will start the third round.
Oh God. Okay. I'm ready.
All right.
I think.
It'll be easy.
Okay.
Apples.
Pears.
Bananas.
Fruit.
The face says it all. I suck at these games. Okay.
Model catchphrase.
All right. Let's start. Okay. I'm starting now.
You're
right?
starting.
Okay. Game of Thrones.
Dragons.
Born.
Daenerys.
Scales.
Armor.
Knights.
D&D.
Magic.
Peter Dinklage.
Midgets.
So fucked up.
Is he not a midget? He's not the midget?
He's not a midget.
Yeah,
Oh.
he is.
Yes, he is.
Okay,
Yes, he
just
is.
checking.
That was good. All right, Morgan.
Lips.
Face.
Eyes.
Skin.
Lotion.
Hair.
Eyebrows.
Nose.
Makeup.
Nostrils.
Powder.
Pants.
Cuffs.
Police.
Shoes.
Laces.
Pumped up kicks.
Okay. No, I can't. I was gonna say I can't go there.
Better run that run.
I was certainly gonna say something I shouldn't have said. Oh God.
Well, Carly, thank you very, very much for coming on the show. Is there anything that you would like to promote while you're here?
Yes. So if anyone is listening to this who is a photographer in the DMV/PA, Jersey area,
Joyzy.
Stace who is another Delaware photographer, or actually, I guess technically he's Maryland, and myself, we're hosting a shootout. I don't know the exact pricing on everything, but I will be sure to post something on my Instagram page at _Carly.Nicole about it. It should be on September the 8th, and yeah, it should be a lot of fun. It's going to be basically a photographer shootout starring myself. So if you'd like to come take some pictures of me, that sounds so bad, but like, come to it. It should be a good time.
Awesome. Well, Carly, thank you once again for coming on the show. Carly Turner, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
That's it. That's the show. Okay.
Sweet.
Did we get through everything?
Yeah, I thought so.
Okay, great. That's it. That was, you were incredible.
I tried.
I gotta tell you, it gets real wet in here.
Yeah.
After